Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous, and this is the same Anonymous as the series. Last video was Narcissists are fighting over you, not for you. Hi, Ollie. Thank you for reading my stories. Sorry for the typos in my last one. Hearing my last video, the narcissists are fighting over you, not for you, really opened my eyes, but it is so painful to face the truth. These are just some random thoughts and opinions. Just before my ex and I's wedding, my mother informed me that she and stepdad too were getting married and that he would be coming to the wedding. I was hurt that she had not told me about the relationship earlier. When I was on the other side of the world going out with a foreign national, she did not come over to see him or offer her opinion. She knew I had very little dating experience. Maybe she was afraid I would rebel, but I am the kind of person who would have listened if someone would have warned me. Maybe she was too caught up in her new relationship with stepdad too. Be Good 4000 talks about how narc parents exile their kids on purpose and know what kind of partner they will end up with due to the abuse they suffered. I've said they'll only accept, they will only accept a partner that they can control or will control you in the way they want. They set you up for who they want you to be with. My mother even says to me that I was always going to be vulnerable to the first guy who paid me attention due to the abuse I suffered. She acknowledges my abuse but does not take responsibility for staying in the abusive situation. I have tried to ask her why she did not leave my stepfather. At first she said this conversation is not going to go anywhere. Then when I pushed her further, she said I already had a child to him, my brother, and you would have wanted me to take just you. I told her that this was not true, that he was the adult while I was the child. Then she said, "Oh, Anonymous," in a voice designed to elicit sympathy. When I pushed her still further, she basically admitted that she stayed for security. As I mentioned in my previous, that's why you don't ever believe the enabler. Okay, nobody's forced to stay there. As I mentioned in my previous story, my friend told the narc about my abusive childhood. Then the narc sent me an encouraging email offering fake empathy over my abuse. Looking back, a healthy person would not send such an email so quickly. In fact, they would make sure that I was taking responsibility for doing the necessary self-work. A true healthy man, on hearing my emotional and sexual abuse, would have thought, I don't want these kinds of people in my life, and insisted that I go no contact if I wanted to date him. My mother probably knew what kind of person my ex was by the fact that he was willing to date an abuse victim and allow her to keep contact with her family. Many other YouTubers talk about how narc mothers strategically keep their daughters away from good men. Right, it's a competition. They don't want to see their daughters do better than they did. This makes sense since she spent so much time drumming into me that all men want is sex. She also allowed me to be traumatized by my stepfather's abuse. Looking back, if I had met a healthy guy who was able to give me perspective and set boundaries, she would have lost control over my life and probably been excluded because a healthy guy would not want such people around his children. Narcs hate to lose control. This sounds strange, but as I look over my life, I have never had a deep relationship with a non-narc male, so I do not know what a healthy male behavior is. Like I said in my previous video, I do not want to instill an unhealthy view of men in my daughter. I also overlooked so many red flags of my son husbanding mother-in-law. I will send a story about her and the culture. I am gaining more and more clarity so I can take responsibility for my life. Looking over my story objectively, the gaslighting disabled my internal GPS and sense of reality. And that's the whole point of gaslighting, is to disorient you. I have been conditioned to forgive and forget and to take responsibility that was not mine, rather than taking care of myself and having healthy boundaries. Like you said, all the gaslighting caused me to think I did not deserve anything good. And that's why gaslighting is the most destructive tool in narcissism, because it completely disorients you from the truth. They can say the most ridiculous, untrue things to you about you. If they do it in a gaslighting tone and manner, it drives you into a near homicidal, can drive you into a homicidal rage. It's what the media does. It's what's going on in politics. I know that you love to talk about politics. I believe that non-narc men and women are strategically kept apart. For me, I will probably choose to say single, as I already have a daughter. However, if all non-narcs make that decision, it's almost like we are letting Team Narc win by breeding more narcs as well as abused, ignorant scapegoats that attract more narcs. After such abuse, it is so easy to take all the pain and frustration out on the opposite sex in general. However, this does no good. All in all, it is our screwed up expectations that land us in these situations. Thanks for reading my story and take care. And you brought up the politics, so I'm going to get back to it. Because overall what you're talking about is this, I guess, this unfair that only men are only out for sex. And I got to post a video. I wasn't sure if I was going to, because I have another one that I recorded where I had to call somebody out because I just flat out don't believe them. I flat out don't believe her. Not you, someone else. I'm going to post that after I post this. I was going to do just a political video on this, but since you brought it up, I might as well do it here. The reason why this has become so out of control, this gender war, this men are only out for sex, men are harassers, because you keep hearing it over and over and over again in the media. And like I said, we are in a narcissistic media era. It's been that way. Applying all the rules we know to narcissism, to society and to the media. We know the narcissist projects everything they do onto you. Because why? Because they believe everybody thinks the way they do. Okay? So you can't just sit there and say the media is lying on everything. Fake news, fake media, they're lying, they're lying, they're lying, and then say, because it doesn't necessarily line up with narcissism, because the narcissist a lot of times believes what they say about you because that's what they would do in their situation. So what you're talking about with the men are no good and what we're seeing in the media, how they're pushing the wage gap and women, the rape culture, and then you look up at Fox, at CNN, at NBC, David Letterman. How many of them? Media figures. Not only Fox is not going on now, but it's also CNN is in major lawsuit. Sexual harassment, racial discrimination, on and on. And we've been listening to this shit for the better part of 2 decades, the rest of the world, from this media. And we're getting pissed off. Why? Because that's not how anything worked in our businesses. It's not anything. Wait a minute. This is societal narcissism. This is media narcissism. They put what they're that's what goes on at the media companies. The racism, the grab ass, the sexual harassment, the fuck me or you're out of a job. That's the media. The reason why they go out there and they're spouting it out to they think that's happening everywhere. It's only happening with the media and in the politicians. So naturally, they're going to go out, and then they're going to put that on the rest of society. It's them, not us. So why do we got to listen to it? For you, I mean, you're caught up in it, so you're getting it from both ends. You get it on a personal level, anonymous, from your family, and then we're all living through it with the media, where you're walking out and men are evil and men are this and you're going to get raped if you go to college and this and that, and you're just trying to raise your daughter to not think that way. It's all a part of the gaslight. All of it. The more ridiculous the accusation, the more disoriented you are, and the more it works. That's why gaslighting is the most destructive tactic the narcissist has. And you can't fool, you can't play into it. You cannot give 1 inch to the narcissist. You cannot make one concession to the narcissist, even if you know you're wrong. Even if you know you're wrong, you got to stick to your gun. Because even if you're wrong, even if you admit you're wrong, they're going to use it against you anyway. Even if you were right, they're going to use it against you. So what are you getting out of admitting anything to the narcissist? You're being weakened by the gaslighting. You're being weakened by the gaslighting to the point where you'll admit to something that is so ridiculous just to make it stop. And it's never going to stop. So you either got to stand and fight it by not, and I'm not saying fight the narcissist. I'm saying you don't apologize even if you're wrong. You don't give an inch. You don't admit to shit, because they don't, and they never will. We want them to go away. They want to destroy us. That's the difference. So, hope that helps. Thank you for another contribution, Anonymous, and thank you for another story. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype chat, phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just sponsor the channel in general, help pay the bills, keep the light on, see the channel grow, because that's always awesome as well, because still this channel is being funded 100% by you guys. You guys know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box, and if you're still unclear, wait for the instructional video link to pop up on the screen at the end of this video to walk you through all of that. Please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance.